Hey, welcome back to my series of tutorials on how to create to-do list app using SwiftUI, MVVM and Combine. So we created a simple to-do list app where you just can create tasks and mark them as done and undone. There's basically no other features in it. So the next step would be creating lists and dividing your tasks into lists. But before we start doing that, let's just clean up our code a little bit. And by the way, as you noticed, now I enabled dark mode, so let me know if it works for you better or light mode is better. So let's begin. First thing to do was fixing buttons. If you open new task view and press live preview button here, let's zoom it out, you can see if I press somewhere here or here, this button doesn't work. It works only when I press here. The issue is because I added all these modifiers to the button view, meaning that basically only this text is in a button. So that's kind of an easy fix. You just cut it from here and add it to your text. And the same is here. Now let's run and check it. And now, as you can see, all this stuff is a button. Another thing is supporting dark mode. So in the preview, we can change it by clicking this button here and set color scheme to dark. In this case, you may see that our buttons have wrong color. So basically it's because we use white color. Let's just create a new color here. So press this plus button in the bottom left corner and choose color set. And let's call it background. Let's open this panel here, and as you see, for any appearance white is fine, but for dark appearance it should be black. Great, now we have our new color here and we can use it here. So instead of choosing white, just type its name here. Press resume, hide this panel. Now you see it works. Yeah, maybe we should change that to secondary color. Let's see. Yeah, and this one too. Yeah, I think it's fine. Yeah, let's change the scheme to light again. Double check if everything's fine. Awesome. Yeah, let's get rid of it here. And let's go here. Let's change this one to dark scheme. And as you can see, nothing is visible here. So the thing here is simple. Here we just should use something like secondary and primary. And here we just use primary color. And now everything is fine. And let's finally check our task list view. So here, if we enable dark scheme, everything looks fine. There is no colors here. Also, you can check how it works for those who enabled accessibility. For instance, if you use accessibility extra large, you can see how it looks. You may understand if you like it or not. And yeah, you can add it here too. if you feel like it, or you can just basically add these modifiers here. It depends on you. You can make it extra large, and see how it changes. Yeah, let's get rid of it. Awesome. And now we can start creating our lists. So first of all, let's create a new model. We'll call it TL list. Click here, press Command N, choose Swift file, name it TL list. And let's create a struct here. And just copy this stuff from here and update it. Title, and here we'll need a list of tasks. Potentially, I'm not sure if we truly need it here, but let's add it for now. And it will be an empty array by default. Yeah, actually, also let's move identifiable to an extension, just for the sake of tutorial, because it's better to divide your code into different extensions. And let's copy it to TL task. So it's basically the same, but your code now is more organized. Okay, so for TL task, we'll need to add a variable list it belongs to. So it will be TL list. If it was a class for us, we would have weak variable here, but it's a structure, so we don't have strong reference cycle here. Yeah, so we will implement core data part later, and for now let's just use this structure. Yeah, so let's create a view for lists. So just select file here and press Command N, choose SwiftUI view, and let's call it lists view. Or maybe to get rid of discrepancy, let's call it like my lists view. So we will need a view model for our my list view, so let's create it right here. Choose, press Command N, choose Swift file, press next, and let's call it my lists view model. As we already know, we don't need protocols for our view models here because we don't use them anywhere, but for the sake of this tutorial, let's create the protocol. So it will be my lists view model protocol. So our view model will definitely have lists. That will be an array of lists. And the method fetch lists. And that's it. And now let's import combine and implement our view model. This will be lists. We'll definitely need a data manager in our model. And we need methods where we pass our data manager. And as default value, we'll pass data manager shared. And here we do just simple dependency injection. Okay, and now let's implement our my lists view model protocol. So here we'll have fetch lists. Yeah, now we need to implement new things for our data manager. So first of all, let's add new methods here. First will be fetch lists, that we simply return an array of lists, and add list with title. Yeah, and here we can go even further. We can replace this protocol with the task data manager protocol and just create a new one called list data manager protocol, and we'll move these things from this protocol here, and we'll create a type alias for our data manager protocol that will be task data manager and list data manager. And this will be extension to our task data manager protocol. So that's basically it. The app still works, no problems at all, and we can just divide our app into two different protocols, and it will be even better than just having one protocol. And after that we can set our data manager type in task list view model as task data manager protocol. Everything is fine. But even if you have a huge code base and you'll make this change, nothing bad happens, and you just can start using this new protocol for your new view or something. It's not a big deal. So you just make this change here and define your protocol and conform to your protocols here, and everything is still fine. And your whole app know almost nothing about your new protocol and your changes in data manager. So there will be fetch list function and function add list. Yeah. So for now, let's just return an empty array, or we just can do this. We will update our DB helper later, but for now, let's leave with this stuff here. Okay, so now we need to go to our mock data manager and fix it here. Yeah, so let's create several names for our list names. Let's call it like groceries, things to do, and I don't know, vacation plans here. And for name in list names, just append a new util list with title as name and tasks as our tasks. Nice. And then let's implement fetch lists, that we just basically return lists, and on add list we'll just create a new list that will have only title, and we insert it in our list of lists. as a first element. And that's it. So let's press Command B to see if it builds. And it does build. Nice. So let's go back to our view model and update this protocol here. And our fetch lists will be very simple. So we'll just assign whatever data manager returns us to lists, and that is our list view model implementation. Nice. Now let's get back to my list view and let's just create a state object view model. That will be our my lists view model, and I have a typo here, so let's fix it. Our app should be clean. Okay, let's create static variable here, and we'll return my list view model with data manager. That's actually mock data manager. Okay, so I can press resume here, but we still don't have anything in our view model. Yeah, so let's start implementing it. So we will create a list of our tasks here. Let's create a list that will have our lists in it. And for now, just let's present a title. Also, let's embed it into a navigation view. Then select this part and press Ctrl-I to update indents. And let's add a navigation title as lists. And on appear, we'll ask our view model to fetch lists. Yeah, and we forgot to pass view model here. Awesome. So let's embed it into horizontal stack, add a spacer, and a text for list tasks count, and that will be a string. The foreground color for it will be secondary. And yeah, let's update our mock data manager so the number of tasks is different. So let's choose a prefix of 0 to tasks count random element here. Yeah, let's make it a little bit bare. Let's move it here. List tasks. Pass it here. Yeah, and we need to convert it into array. Yeah, let's check it. Now press resume button here. Nice. Every time you change something here, it gets updated. It's totally fine because it generates random tasks each time, so that's fine. The main thing that we see our list here, and that is great. Now let's move our horizontal stack into a new view because we don't want to contaminate this view. So let's create a new SwiftUI view. call it my lists row, and paste it here, adding list stl list here. And here we'll add the list with title groceries. Let's update the preview layout. Have fixed width and height. Press resume. Yeah, it looks fine. And now let's go back to my list view and replace this block with just my lists row with list as a parameter. Also, let's organize our structure of the project a bit better. Select these 3 items by holding Command and clicking on them. Right click and choose new group from selection. Let's call it my lists. And we'll do the same for these 3. It will be task list. And this will be new task. We don't need it now. But let's now implement our navigation. Link task list view, and this will go here. In the future we'll need to pass a list here, so our task list view will know what particular list it is. Now, since we have a navigation view here and we open our task list view inside of it, we no longer need this one here. So we just basically move this stuff from the navigation view to here. And for the preview, we will add it here manually, so we can see how it looks like. And we can move this thing here. We don't need buttons. Yeah, so it looks fine. Okay, now let's implement adding new lists. Actually, we can just reuse everything that we have for task list with some changes. So first of all, we just can copy this text here and then create a new file, new list view model. We can move it somewhere here and choose new group from selection and call it new list. And then we just paste our code. And here we just replace this all places where we have a task name, task word to list. So this might be list data manager for us, and list data manager should have at least method here. Nice, and let's just copy this whole thing too. Let's just create a new file, doesn't matter whether it's Swift file or SwiftUI, and call it new list view. And paste. Let's rename it everywhere. let's check how it looks. It looks fine. Nice. And now let's just go to task list view and copy and paste all this stuff to our lists view. Now we're just saving time, and I think it's totally fine. We will just change the appearance layer. Now it's totally okay that we have nearly similar screens. And we're almost there. Yeah, that should do it. Press resume here and check if it works. Yeah, now we have this plus button here. And last but not least, we need to set this my list view as the main view here. So this will be my lists view. Let's build and run our app. And see if it works. Let's try adding new list. Groceries. And we don't see it here. So something isn't right. Maybe we forgot to implement it. Of course we did. Yeah, so the next step would be to update our core data. Let's do it. Yeah, so we open our core data file in persistence. Yeah, so select our data model. After that, press editor in the top menu and choose add model version. Let's call it just to-do list 2. Why not? So now we've created a new version of our to-do list core data model. So you see, we have the old one and this is a new one. Now we need to add changes here, but before that we see that our active model is here. So select this one, make sure that your right panel is open. If not, press this button. After that, choose model version to-do list 2. Awesome, now it's our active model. So now let's add lacking things such as new entity that will be our list entity. It will have ID as UID, title, a string, and choose ID, select this button, show the data model inspector, and choose that it's non-optional, and our string title isn't optional too. Now select list entity and choose manual in CodeGen, because we'll generate this file manually. Okay, and now let's add relationship with tasks. So here we'll choose relationship called tasks. We'll select task entity, and this will be one-to-many, because our list may have several tasks. We'll choose cascade because whenever we delete our list, we just don't need its tasks anymore. So whenever we delete list, we'll delete its tasks too. Yeah, it will be ordered, and let's make it non-optional. If it doesn't have tasks, it will be an empty array. Now we need to add inverse relationship, and we go to task entity, select list, and this will be our list entity, inverse to this one. Yeah, and this will be to 1, and this relationship may be optional because we may decide to implement tasks that don't belong to any lists. Let's implement list entity. But actually no, let's not make it ordered. We don't need it actually here, and let's add another attribute here called added on. This will show us a date when this particular entity was created. So yeah, let's choose it. Set non-optional and set default value as doesn't matter. It can be null, it can be anything. And for task entity we'll do the same. We'll add added on date, and default value will be the same. Great, now let's go back to our core data file for task entity, and let's add date here. Let's do the same for TL tasks, I think. Or for TL lists too. Let's adapt this one, and we'll add edit on here. And in core data helper, where we create our DB helper, where we create actually data manager, yeah, where we create task, we'll pass current date. That's good. Okay, so we created this new thing, and let's just copy this again because we don't need to waste time on the code that we've already written. Let's create list entity file, and let's paste everything here. Now let's rename it to list entity, and it doesn't have is completed, obviously. So let's try to build and run it, and we'll see if our core data model successfully migrated. Let's close this. Yeah, it works. We are fine. Yeah, now let's go back to our let me just set. Okay, so let's go back to our data manager. Now we need to implement our fetch lists and add list methods. So for add list, let's just copy again all this thing here and replace it with proper things here. Good. And for fetch lists, we'll use this thing here. We're not gonna implement sorting yet, we'll do it later. But for now, we need to implement fetching lists. So as you can see, this thing is nearly the same. Don't need this stuff here, and we just need to map it into converted TL list. So we have TL lists here. Okay. Okay. Possibly maybe I do need to do this. Yeah, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out later. So everything's fine. Okay, let's go back to our my list view, and no, actually let's go back to my list view model. Yeah, we already connected this fetch lists method here in our new list view. New list view model, we have this add list here. So basically now everything should work. Let's build right and we'll see. Let's create a list. And another one. Things to do. And third one. Places to visit. Okay, now let's build it again. And they persist. Okay, but as you can see, no matter what we open, we see the same list of tasks, and that's not right. So now we need to update our task list view. Now task list view should take a list in it, actually task list view model. It should get a list variable. Let's add list here. Let's make this private and move it down. Let's set constant. And there will be title string that will actually be in list title. Now we need to update our data manager because it needs to know what list we are looking for. So here we'll get an extra, actually yeah, let's update task data manager protocol. So here we have TL list. That will be optional because in some cases we might need to get tasks for no that have no lists. And this will be our convenient protocol extension. And let's go back here, fetch tasks list for list, TL list. And in our predicate, we need to add something else. Yeah, so we will create an array of predicates here that will be of NS predicate type. And if included is completed, we'll just add this predicate here. And another predicate that we'll add here will be an as predicate format list ID equals our list ID, and this will be variable. And now we'll have a final predicate that will be compound predicate, that is AND predicate with subpredicates. Here we pass our array, and that should do it. So this should be like this. Yeah. Oh, include it false. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, let's change it. If we had list ID, it will add new predicate. We'll pass it here. Okay. The same thing is with add task, because here we need to add task to a list. So there will be list that might be optional, and yeah, we can create an extension method and implement it here. Add task to list till list, which might be nil. And now we need to create fetch list entity method here. Actually, let's replace it with argument array to get rid of unnecessary casts here. Okay, so, and this should be list entity. Oh, let's just call it entity here. No, yeah, it's fine. And here we'll assign list. Oh yeah, I forgot to add this managed variable list that will be list entity. It might be optional, and for list entity I need to add set of tasks that is non-optional. So yeah, let's go back to core data helper, no, to data manager helper. For new task, we'll pass a list as fetch list entity list, and we will need to check if it's not nil, otherwise we don't need it. Okay, that's good. And here in add list we just need to pass an empty array of tasks. Actually it is set. Okay, awesome. So now let's fix all this stuff, because we'll need to add missing element here. So here we need to pass a list. Yeah, we'll need to pass a list, so this thing becomes now our my lists view will create this view model. Task list view model, missing argument, and let's just create some simple argument, groceries, and our title will be just view model title. Let's go to my list view, and here we need to pass view model with the given list, or we can even write init here to make it a bit shortened. So let's try build and run it. Hopefully this time it works. Yeah, we still have an array of lists. Maybe we because we forgot to update our task list view model here. Yeah. So now when we fetch tasks, we need to pass list here. Oh, yeah. Okay. So now we have this list here, and we are passing it here, and that should do it. Okay. But also, when we create a new task, we need to pass a list here, because we need to know what list it is added to, and our list will be list. Yeah, it may be optional here. Shall list, and when we add new task, we should have this. No, not here, but here. Title to list here. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, we'll need to create it from the outside. Or just pass nil because we don't care for the preview. But for task list view, we should update our model for new task view here. That's actually called build, so we can see this error here, and we add our view model here and pass list from view model. So we do need to make list in my list in task list view model non-private. Yeah, and try to build again. Build failed, something is missing. Yeah, we forget to initialize list here. Yeah, I'm a mess today. Let's try to run it. Hopefully this time it works. Yeah, it does. Let's try to create, and as you can see now we have this title here. Yeah, so let's try to create a new task here. So it's a grocery list, so we'll add potato here, and maybe tomato. And now we go back and we see that it's fine. And if we add this thing here, go to gym for instance, we'll see it here, place to visit at Paris, Cape Town. Yeah, oh sorry, my mistake. Okay. Okay, something is weird. I think I need to fix task list view model. So we pass show completed, and data manager checks if is included completed, if not included completed. Yeah, now that should be fine. But yeah, we need to update our my list view model, and no, actually we need to update our my list view, and here, yeah, by some reason, or yeah, that is my mistake, forget to do something. So yeah, we kind of messed up our database, and yeah, that's not cool, but yeah, whatever. So now we'll add if let, now let's use it here, let list entity equals this. Then first we add list entity to our task, and also to our list entity we add task. let's add it into the first place. It doesn't matter because it's a set, yeah. Okay, so we are passing this thing, and yeah, let's move it up, and let's call db helper update list entity. Nice. And now let's run a bit again. Yeah, my mistake. Yeah, now let's try to add something to our grocery list. Only one. And it's still 0, but if I run it again, will I have 1 here? No, something isn't right. Because it's our TL list entity that just doesn't have tasks here, and our TL list entity should have tasks and send tasks as an array here, and tasks convert on map convert to TL task. Yeah, that should do it. Yeah, let's actually go back to data manager and comment this thing, because I believe it should happen automatically. Yeah, so if we go here and add a new one, for instance milk, and go back, we don't have anything updated here, but if we run and build it again, we should see 4 this time. This happens because when we add a new task, we don't get our list updated. So yeah, maybe the use of struct wasn't that great for these two structures, but yeah, let's still keep them here and just ask must list view. Yeah, I think I know why, because we kind of need to move it here into list, because our navigation view exists all this time and our onAppear doesn't get called next time when we pop back, because it's our navigation controller. And now it is fine, yeah, because when you go back, your list appears, this part. So now it works. So let's try to add some additional, like, chocolate. Let's go back and we see that there are 5 items here. Awesome. So I think we'll stop here, because we've done a lot. We've migrated core data, and now we have a second model here, and that is great. And now we know how to do lightweight migrations when you don't need to do anything complicated, and in most cases it's the case, but sometimes you need to write some code to do migration. But yeah, for our case it wasn't that good, it wasn't that bad. So yeah, and yeah, we did all this stuff here. We updated our TL task, we created our TL list. Yeah, in the next part I think we'll add some additional features. We'll add an ability to remove lists, to remove tasks, and to edit them. That's it for now, and let me know if you like dark mode more, and let me know if you have any problems or any suggestions how to make this app better, and what you would like to know in SwiftUI, so we can add some feature and you'll learn something. And don't forget to hit like if you like my tutorials, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.